Hey everyone, welcome to Industry Headlines. My name's Fred Weaver. Again, I am not joined by my business partner, Kevin Kauffman, who is off on vacation this week, but let's jump into it. We got some cool headlines to go through this week. First off, we're going to talk about hot home sales and is the market on the precipice of a bubble? It's kind of a heated topic out there. I actually kind of pinged some of you in our Facebook group, Next Level Agents, here this morning to see your thoughts on the current market and any concerns. We'll talk about a brokerage back east using VR in a really new way, or at least new for me. And we'll also talk about Zillow. All right, they were in the news a lot last week, right after we finished Industry Headlines. So hot home sales, I read a couple articles just in the last week talking about, obviously, the market nationally, pretty much in every major metro market is pretty crazy. And it kind of leads a lot of people to ask the question, is this another 2005? Or maybe in your market, it was 2006 or 2007. Is there a bubble upon us? And out of the two articles I read, one of them kind of highlighted, things that were different now compared with 2005. In 2005, there was a lot of homes being purchased and left vacant, right? They were being snapped up by investors. In 2005, we also had very low rents. In 2005, it was also very easy to get a mortgage, right? In 2005, I think most of us thought everything would keep going up. At least that's the mentality I was in. I was in my second year in real estate at that point in time. And then also there was obviously a lot of loose mortgage programs. I'll just call it that. Maybe you want to use the term mortgage fraud on both sides of the mortgage industry, borrower and lending. And then developers were building a lot of homes, right? They were literally building more and more homes for these vacant investors that were going to purchase them. I should call it investors who were going to leave the homes vacant. So some different things that are happening today, and these things are very true in my market especially. We've got low vacancies, we've got high rents. Qualifying for a mortgage nationally is much tougher today than it's ever been. When I say that it's ever been, maybe that's not a true statement, but it's tougher than it was 15 years ago. I think we can all agree on that. I think most people are cautious about the market going down now, a little different than where we were 10 and 15 years ago. I would say mortgage fraud and those loose loan programs are no longer around. And developers, especially in the Phoenix market where I sit, they're short on inventory. In fact, I saw a statistic the other day that showed we've had less new home communities open in 2020 than we have new home communities close. There was actually maybe 30 to 50, don't quote me on the exact number, but we've had more new home communities close out than we've had open up, which that's a sign that our inventory is actually shrinking in the new inventory. So whatever you want to believe, bubble, no bubble, most people would say that the signs are different right now than they were 10 and 15 years ago. I guess time will tell, but I wanted to talk about that for a few minutes here today in Industry Headlines because it's being talked about a lot in the news the last week. On the technology side of things, I came across a really cool article talking about a brokerage called Urban District Realty. They're based out of Washington, D.C., and they decided that they were going to start using VR to get consumers or potential home buyers inside homes that haven't yet been built. I thought that was really unique. We've talked a lot about will VR show up and how will it show up, but I think if there was one niche where we could see VR break out, I think Urban District Realty might be on the forefront of doing that here by allowing consumers to actually come into their office and check out VR headsets, right? And tour properties that have not yet been built. I still think the consumer, for the most part, wants to walk through and smell and see and feel that property a little bit in person. That's a resale. But in the new home communities and the new subdivisions, homes that have not yet been built, I think this could be a trend that we might start seeing. So keep an eye out on that. I thought that was pretty interesting. And lastly, we'll end with Zillow, where I will keep my opinions aside because let's face it, you already have your opinions about Zillow, but they were in the news this last week. They launched their iBuyer program in the Phoenix, Arizona market back in April 2018. And in January of 2021, so 2.5 or so years after launching that iBuyer program, they're making a shift. They are no longer going to run their iBuying transactions through a local agent who is hand selected by Zillow and is a 1099 independent contractor running their own operations. They will now be hiring real estate agents, but they will be hiring real estate agents as W-2 employees to carry out the transaction. Let's see, there was a quote here that said, in thinking about how to make the customer experience smoother, what we realized is by having a Zillow employee with who's their end-to-end for the entire transaction, it made the whole transaction easier and more streamlined. One person that the customer could go to talk to, and they knew this would be the person that would guide them and shepherd them through the whole process. So we'll see how all that plays out. Obviously, you're very well opinionated already already on what you think about Zillow, so I will let you keep your opinions, but I just wanted to share that that is coming very soon. The iBuyer transactions will no longer be run through the local agent. I think there still may be some benefits in it for the local agents that will maybe play out. We'll see how all that works, but they will no longer be handling the entire iBuying transaction. That will be done by a Zillow W-2 employee. All right, thanks for joining me. Next week, I'm on vacation, so hopefully Kevin Kauffman will do industry headlines without me. Go out and create yourself a great day, and we'll talk with you soon. Thanks so much.